Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. I had a funny thing happen. Um, so I got this new apron from Lisa's mom. Hi, David. How are you? Who we got over on before I tell that story, let's see we got over here on YouTube. Colin, Juicy, Russell, Gabriel. Hello, hello. Welcome. Russell, I hope your birthday celebration last night was excellent. But I went to go put this on today, and the opening between, yes, apron drama. The opening here was like really short, and I'm like, I swear when I put that on yesterday, it wasn't that short. Well, as I learned today, of course, I should have expected this. Lisa's mom is really she's a master seamstress. She's really, really very, very good. She's like 4 steps ahead of thinking of what you need. It actually is adjustable up or down, and it coordinates with the ties in the back. And so I was like, oh, so you can have it up. I can have it up higher if I want. So somehow I must have pulled on it because it pulls up. Anyway, it's kind of funny. Now it's all wonky. There we go. Anyway, small little things, I guess. Yeah, I thought that was, yeah, it's too high tech, right? I was like, that's all right, because I'm like, did this shrink, and I couldn't figure it out. Anyway. I just got done listing like 20 vintage pens, mostly Esterbrook, on the website today. Literally just put them out in the cases. M2 Aerometrics, A101 Aerometrics, a singular CA101 with the platinum converter, a couple of really nice SJs, and a lovely Model A. In copper, early copper Model A. Before that invention, you'd have to put a knot on the back of it by your neck. Oh, yeah, yeah, it is cool. Yeah, she just sent it. She sent a note, but she didn't, There's probably like 5 other cool things about this that I haven't figured out yet. So I will keep finding new things, I'm sure. So yeah, a lot of new vintage up today. Unfortunately, the bummer part of it was there was a lovely forest green 51 Aerometric, and as I'm looking down and I'm writing the description for it, I'm like, is that a scratch? Is that a crack? And I look down, and it's a really nice 51 Demi, and there's a crack in the barrel. Now, so that could go 2 ways, right? You could say, well, it doesn't affect how the pen writes. And my notes indicate that the pen is very smooth. It has a crystal clear sack. I don't recall if I replaced it or not, but it's nice. But what do you knock off for the barrel? I mean, barrel shouldn't be too hard to find, but I pulled it from the lineup. Maybe I'll get lucky and I'll find one in Chicago. We'll see. Apparently, I've not found the switch that would light up the front and it would spell out Brian. Yeah, I haven't found that yet. So now I'm like, I didn't quite have it right. There we go. So, all right. Just dropped a Parker 61. So today, let's see what we got today. I'm A little tired today. Let's see if I got this cap in here. So we'll see how long I last. Thursday's always my complaint. This cap has been soaking. It's got what looks like super glue on it. It has something. Which concerns me because it wasn't, kind of wasn't necessary. But, you know, then people do crazy things. But we're going to test these vacs today. Excuse me. We're going to look at that more. We're going to see if we're going to try to get that thing together. I want to get it together today. I got some 823s that I want to clean. But I'm just checking this lip. Normally you would find this if somebody was, you know, just trying to, if it didn't thread in, but it did, so I don't know. Not as nice in my opinion as the 51. With the clip screw. I suspect what happened is somebody put this together and then they couldn't tighten down the jewel enough. I should probably just look for a new cap, but maybe we can get this back together. Okay, it does seem like it wants to sit in there. But what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to go through all this trouble to clean this up. And then it's not going to work. I can just see this happening. In fact, you can even hear it on the micro mesh. When it hits a spot. Ooh. It's better. Now, the nice thing about Vacuumatics would use micro mesh. If you don't get it perfect, it's really is easy to hide. It's easy to hide anything that may not be perfect. And this is not quite thin enough. It's kind of big for this cap. So instead of trying to find the best spot, if it's super glue, it just comes right off. Worst case scenario, I've got a really good, pretty part in the part bin. I don't want to go too nuts. I don't want the cap to be super duper shiny and the barrel not quite the same. But it's easy to do the caps. And you don't have to do much. You can just kind of make sure you hit each side and rotate it. By the time you get down to 8,000, it'll look pretty good. Because if I had a buffing wheel set up, I could have done it that way too. But sometimes it's nice to do it by hand. Just seeing if I can get anything else off the top. This is a pretty ugly jewel, so Trick is going to be seeing if we can get this to actually tighten down tight enough. And that might be why they used super glue. They couldn't get it tight enough. But believe it or not, this actually kind of almost worked. That's pretty tight. Just fix this little bend in it. Thank goodness. Okay. Where is my notepad? There it is. UPS, unexpected delivery. More, some new inks, actually. This one has pretty decent visibility to it. Nice nib. As usual, when Vacumatics write nice, if the nibs have not been boogered up, They're pretty nice. Mm. Yep. All right. It's good. Next up, another major copper pearl. 44 first quarter. What's the transparency on this? Two-tone nib. There we go. That's better. Sorry, I just had an email from one of my repair clients. Yeah, this is you like a real firm, precise Nice nib. This one's it. Right. Silver pearl. Yeah, there's some transparency, not too much. This one, ambered as usual. 45 second quarter. Really hard to tell the level on some of these. Nice nib. Medium. Decent trim on it. Blue diamond's gone, but you just got a parcel with a couple of Parker 45s. One has a Parker Eversharp converter. New one to me. Yeah. Probably, is it the orange one? There's quite a number of crossover in that Parker Eversharp era. Particularly on the Big E red end, yeah. Hmm. It doesn't feel as nicely as I would like it to. Hmm. Oh, I'm getting. Hard to argue with 28 drops. Green. What do we got on this one? Check the date. 44 fourth. 444. Yeah, this one had that nib that was just not perfect. Okay, now it's straight. Close, not quite where I want it. Pen was a little bit of a. Okay, that looks better. Only took three tools to get that one right. Let's make sure it's perfect though. All right. Almost forgot about that nib. Yeah, 25, 26, 27 drops. Seems to be about the average. This is really where the salad spinner is gonna shine. All right, last but not least, Duovac. Speedline. This is a small, actually a fairly small pen, 1940, really deep date stamp. Fourth quarter, can't really tell. Can't tell if a dot has been absorbed by the impression of the zero or not. Well, that may be a soft, fine nib. Well, that'll make someone happy. Okay. There. 5 out of 7 vacs. Feels real nice. All right, we spin those out. That'll be all right. I think some of these I got in November, so finally getting around to. I have a stack of trays just like this that I have pens that I buy either over the counter or as part of collections or at shows, and they go in these binders or these trays. And if they're restorable, pencils go in there too. Pencils, ballpoints. If they're restorable and they're, worth more than $25, they go in the. My stack of trays is diminishing greatly. Which is nice because we're a week from today, I'll be in Chicago. So I guess I'm doing it right. If we run out, there's always Esterbrook's, but and I think one of the ones that I just listed today, I think actually just sold. So anybody with one of these OXO, these real clear, heavy duty plastic spinners, find that they're a little bit harder to see the ink and the water coming out of the pens as you would on a, say, a more opaque spinner. The part of the fun, at least for me, was at least I was able to see it. I don't know if this is just so big that I have to crank my head down. So you don't want to do that. I mean, there's obviously stuff coming out, but you know, at least before on the opaque one, you could see it. And this is just, maybe it's just because it's clear, it's... double the surface area. It's probably spitting out everything in the front that I can't see. I love it though. I mean, the first one was revolutionary. This one is like, this is like when you get your first real grown-up car that's got like, I mean, I don't know how kids today can relate, but you know, like back when I was a kid, you know, you had a car and you've got manual windows, you got cloth seats, you know, and then you get a car and it's got, you know, maybe leather seats and heated seats or power windows. Yeah, Colin, salad spinner time. You know, and you get all the bells and whistles, and that's kind of what this one feels like. This is like 2.5, you know. All right. Seal these up, and then we're gonna get onto that more. That one's done. I'll just... Sometimes when you screw these back in, you can't get them out without removing heat. So, um, makes me question whether or not I just like a fresh coat of shellac on it. Cigarette lighters in the back seats that could slide back and forth on. My first car out of college was awesome. I loved it. Um, it was an Oldsmobile 98 Regency Brougham in Burgundy. Really a sweet car. Nice ride. It actually had a front bench seat. Actually it was a split bench, which was amazing that they still made a split bench back then. But they did. But it had these adjustable shocks. And so what I didn't know is that they were like on all the time. And so I lived in a little place called Avon, New York, upstate, just kind of southwest of Rochester, Pittsford area. And my apartment was an old house that the owner, when he listed it in the description was, he bragged about off-street parking. Like, okay, cool. Now, I moved in the middle of winter. I think it was January. Nice guy. A little weird. A little quirky, I guess, is a better way to describe it. But he says to me, well, when you come in, just let me know. I'll meet you at the house, give you the keys. Well, it was getting late. And I came into town, and I got close, and I called. Said, okay, don't worry about it. I'll put the keys in the door. What? I get it. He doesn't want to get there I don't remember what time we got in. It was late, 2, 3 in the morning, maybe. I really don't remember. It could have been earlier. But we get into town, and sure enough, he literally has the keys in the door. Okay. Come see me tomorrow. Okay. Come see him the next day. Or he comes to see me. I forget how it worked out. I came over to the house, and he says to me, I said, well, what's the deal with the parking? Because it's supposed to have off-street parking. I said, I don't understand where I park. He goes, well, he points over to the side of the house. He says, well, this house has an old carriageway that goes around the house. I mean, I was a young kid. Well, what the hell are you talking about? I don't. And he says, you see those trees over there? Between those trees is where the old carriageway is, and that's where you park your car. And I looked at it, and I looked at him, and he goes, yeah, you got to shovel it out. And it was, nobody had shoveled it out all winter. And, back in the day, we actually, well, for them, they had snow in, they had snow in December. So, I mean, there was a foot and a half of snow in this stupid spot. And yeah, I'm surprised. He goes, I looked at him and like, he goes, no, it's right between those two trees over there. You gotta shovel it out. And so I'm like, okay, great. I mean, I was a young kid. Yeah, I got nothing. When I'm not working, I got nothing else to do, So, and I can't park on the street. So get the shovel it out, and it's like at kind of an angle. It goes up, and then it kind of flattens out and it goes, it used to go around the house. It didn't do that anymore. So I'm like, okay, fine. Get that all done, taken care of. Park the car there. The next morning I come out, the battery's dead. Oh, that's weird. I forget what I did. I had a charger, so I charged it, took it in the house, charged it. Whatever. Got to work. Next day, get home, park there. Next day, come out, battery's dead. I'm like, what is going on? Well, come to find out, my car's got these automatic leveling shocks. And so it was having a hissy fit that it was at this constant angle all night long. And so I ended up having to get a battery shut off. And every time I'd come and park, I'd have to open up the hood, crank this little thing on the battery, which would shut off the battery so that the shocks wouldn't go off. That was a 98, I think. 98 Olds Regency. No, it was Olds 98. I don't remember what year it was. That would have been 89, 94, 95, 90, I don't know, might have been 96, 97, something like that. So I don't know what year the car was. 68 Buick Grand Sport 400 convertible. That was your first car? Wow. 72 Opel GT. That's cool. Boy, you don't see Opels anymore, do you? Like you used to see him at car shows and stuff. And hey, Mike, how you doing? Hellcat, Sack Raid. Wait a minute. Diaphragms count? I mean, Anyway, it was a fun little thing. 72 Opel. Yeah, I mean, how many years did they make the Opel? It was like the poor man's Corvette kind of thing. 93 Dodge Caravan, then a 93 Buick Skylark. Yeah, my parents had a Caravan. My mom had one. She loved it. Ahoy, Sax! How's it going, Mike? From Corolla. How you doing? We're gonna struggle next year, but 68 to 73 they made the Opel. Wow. I didn't think it was very long. I didn't think it's like they took a Corvette and they put it in a trash compactor and they squished it. And and then the curves in the fenders were higher. And what are we fixing today? Okay, so today we're going to do something that's something I don't really want to do because it's making me nervous here. We've got a Moore that has problems galore. It's a beautiful Moore. It's Tuscan. It's got all these cap rings. Look how beautiful that is. It's really quite a nice pen. It's a L94, I think is what we said it was. Yeah, L94. So it's got a number 4 nib. The problem is, if we can see here, this crack that goes all the way under the 4, over the 4, and stops about right there. And then underneath those cracks, that crack line, are several hairlines that extend down. So, yeah, well, it's most of this should be in the section up to about there. My concern is pushing this in. I'll be able to get it in a little bit because I can grip it below where the crack is. We're going to heat this up. I'm going to maybe ream this out just a little bit so it's not so tight. Heat this up. And at least the first part's going to be okay. The part that's going to concern me is trying to push it in as far as it needs to go, because at some point I won't be able to grab most of it below the crack, which means, is there a way to repair the crack? No. I mean, yeah, there is. But there is like maybe nobody that does it anymore. Now it's a number 4 size Moore nib, so it's not terribly rare. It's not rare. Yeah, so this ain't going well. Yeah. It's fairly thick. I don't think you can really see how thick this is. It's a fairly thick nib. It's not like a Schaefer nib. But it has some rigidity to it. So my hope is that once we push this in, it will just, if we can get a majority of the crack underneath the section. And before, we only saw this crack here up to about here. And so my hope is that this went straight down. And it didn't. It goes, I mean, it's all the way up to about right there. It's amazing that it has survived. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be repaired, but there's nobody does that repair. And quite frankly, I can't even imagine. I don't even want to guess what the cost of that repair would be. It would be astronomically high, and for about $100 or less, probably less, if you find an L94 that's broken, you just swap the nib out of it. So unfortunately, that's, it's replace rather than repair is kind of the thing. So I just did kind of a little test fit after some light reaming on that. Because this goes in much easier than it did before, but when you add that extra girth of the nib, and then it just really doesn't. Now, I don't want to do too much because then it's just going to leak all over the place. Another pen lost the time. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those cases where, sometimes I just go ahead and I do things, this is a client's pen, and, they trust you to do what's right. But, in this case, I had to warn them that there is a better than 50% chance that this nib isn't going to end well. And just to let them know, and whether they want me to continue or not. Now, the bummer part about it is if we'd have just left it in the section, it probably it would have been okay. The problem is the nib and feed were cockeyed, and it was not a situation where you wanted to actually to attempt to push it over, because then you might actually make the crack worse and rip it. And now knowing how bad the crack is, that probably definitely would have happened. That, and the underside of the nib was so caked with just junky. I mean, it was hard to get off with the Q-tip. It would not get off in the ultrasonic. So ink would have flowed horribly. So it was kind of a necessary move to take this apart. So thanks to my good friend David, we have this wonderful little diamond reamer, I think it's called. It's a shame so much information lost about nibs over time. Yeah. It's it's a lost art for sure. And it's just so expensive to get the equipment and the training, and I mean, and the thing is if you were to do it, and we've talked about this before, it's the same with retipping. Is you would have an instant 12 to 18 month backlog. Which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it is what it is. You got a 58 MGA? Cool. I drove past, like, I forget, I don't know what year it was. Plastic bumpers, 70s MG. Every day on the way to school, in high school. Sat next to this garage. I totally wanted it. I think I went and stopped one day and asked the guy, and he's like, well, yeah, if you get that car, you get this other car for parts. And I'm thinking, my parents are going to kill me. Where the hell am I going to put this? Anytime you get a car and you get a second car for parts, and you're in high school, it's a terrible idea. It's really a terrible idea. You took your driver's test into the DMV guy was amused. Nice. Okay, there wasn't much. I mean, I don't have any dust there. I got a little something on the Q-tip. At one point, you had two of the Opals? Yeah. Well, I've told this story before. My dad was into Chevettes. And Mom wasn't too keen on him getting a Corvette, so I think he just doubled. Well, he actually tripled down on the Chevette, because they gave me the Chevette for my college graduation so that I had something to drive, and he always drove my mom's car, and she, but he ended up buying Chevettes for parts because something was always going wrong on. I mean, I drove it a lot back and forth to college. And that would allow him to give me a working car, and then he would fix whatever was wrong. Somewhere I gotta find it someday. Somewhere I got a picture of three gray Chevettes in my dad's driveway. And at some point, somebody thought he was like a Chevette junk dealer, and they stopped in asking for parts. I think that was the point where they decided that some of those cars needed to go. Most fun car you had growing up was a 58 Fleetwood Cadillac limousine. Oh, I think you've mentioned that before. Yeah. I'm just trying to heat this up. It's pretty thick rubber, so I'm going to get a nice even heat on it so it gets all the way through. Let's get this set up. Sometimes I wish this actually had a lock. It just kind of sits there, but it would be nice if it had a lock. I guess I don't need one if the jaws are tight enough. All right, here goes nothing, people. I'm going to do it a little bit at a time, heat it up, push it in, because now I'm right on the crack. So vintage pens, vintage cars, watches as well. Oh, yeah, absolutely watches. Yeah. I have survived at least three phases of vintage watch buying. I don't know. I don't know if there'll be a fourth. Yeah, it is a big rabbit hole. Now, mind you, when I drove these cars, they weren't old, so I mean, they weren't new, but rule it. That's good. That's good. All right. Well, so this is kind of what it looked like when before I took it out. You can easily see the crack. Most of it is underneath. Now, my original thought was push this down further, past just a little bit more, so that the 4 is partly obscured, and then that will hide and protect more of this crack, making it a little bit more easy. Now, let's see, what do we got here? I'm probably going to have to heat set the nib a little bit. And it looks like it kind of, for whatever reason, it shifted. Hey, Miso. Spicy. Today get the feeling that the back of yours is going to carry us across the solar system to find more pens. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, it twisted in the section, but this is exactly how it was when it came to me, so I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just the way it naturally wants to go with that crack in it. Um, if I can just get it to go in, the distance is short if I start from Belgium. I bet it is. If I can just get it to go in just a little bit more, I think it will be safer. But I'm going to heat the snot out of this section right now because it really is hard to push in. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I wanted it, and I think we're going to stop there. For whatever reason, it wants to sit naturally at this kind of weird, awkward angle. But that whole crack is basically covered. We can still see the four. Actually, the feed's not too bad. It's a little off kilter. It's not bad though. It's really not bad. Um, I mean, short of spending uh, months and 150, a couple $100, I think that's really the best we can do. Never asked you, but among your modern pens, is Sailor your favorite? Man, that's a tough question. Um, I like Sailor a lot, for sure. Okay, well, that seems pretty tight there. I like Sailor. I do like my Carens, and not just because we happen to be selling them again, but I like the Waterman Caren. It's such a beautiful pen. And it's been nice to be reacquainted with mine. The Schaefer Legacy. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it here before. I think it's, I think for the money, the first thing people are going to, okay, so new Schaefer Legacy that's being produced right now. The first thing that people are going to poo-poo is the fact that it's got a steel nib. It doesn't have a gold nib. Okay, let's just get out in the open on that one. Is it a little bit disappointing? Yeah. Do you want to pay $450 for a gold nib pen? Or do you want to buy the pen for what is it? The black with rhodium is $212. And the black with a two-tone cap is like $30 more, something like that, under 250. And get a beautiful inlaid nib. Iconic, original. Nobody else got a nib like that. I mean, what are you paying for other UFO sticks? $200, right? I think for the money, for what you get, it's outstanding. I mean, you want something that's outstanding. I mean, to get a Caren, you got to spend another $70. Now this one's a little bit more, but you want this inlaid nib. Now it's gold, but it's another, you're looking at another $70, $80, $100. And the Legacy just writes really, really well. The only reason I don't have one of the new ones is because I don't necessarily want a black Legacy. I want them to come out with Legacies in all the original PFM colors, or at least some of them. If they come out with a burgundy or a blue, a dark blue, maybe green, I'm all over it. All over it. So that's that, and you can't get a pen that looks that good for that kind of money. Sailor's your favorite, but it went down a point in your opinion because the two-tone nibs don't match the new gold trim. Yeah, and they've got a couple different, we noticed that too. Before we close, some of the trim was a little bit lighter plated. And it was, you're guessing Lisa's either into the colorful Esterbrook's or colorful Sailor. Not Esterbrook's. Pilot, actually, she likes her pilots. She likes Pilot. Esterbrook, no. No, too big for her. And yeah, Sailor doing steel nips. Yeah, we actually have a tester set that is kind of making the rounds amongst the dealers. I was told I was going to have one within a couple of weeks. That was a couple weeks ago. So when we get one, I told him put me on the list. When we get one, we'll fire them up here on the stream. My hope is that we'll be able to do some kind of video on them, and if they're good, which I really, 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 really hope they are. I can get them. If you want one, you let me know. I'll get one, but until I try them, I'm not gonna put them on the website because I want to try them first. I hope they'll be good. You can't always tell. Production photographs from Sailor have a certain look to them that don't always look like the pen that you get. Which is why I don't like to use stock photography for them unless I absolutely have to. But yeah, I bet they're great because they're not the same as the Compass nibs, which I don't think are that good. It's frosted metal. If Cockner writes fantastic. Yeah, they're pretty good. You don't get why companies don't add some colors. It's not a hard. I know, right? Like, I just had to laugh when the original marketing came out for the Legacy, and they were like, "Oh, Legacy is back in a new way," and all this fancy jive, and I look at like, well, what's does it have the touchdown billing system? Is it a 18? Is it 21 karat nib? And what's back in a new way? It's just back in a new way that it has a steel nib, and it only came in one nib size in one color. Like, okay, all right, I had to laugh. I saved that email for a while because I'm like, man, you can put a spin on anything, I guess. Back in a new way. Better. No. No, it's not. All right. What size sack are we going to put in this guy? 18, maybe? 18? I don't think a 20 is going to... 20 is going to fit. 19? Let me glasses. Let me grab a sack here. I guess I could put away the diaphragms. I don't need those. $20? You think a 20? Yeah. You can understand some colors won't sell, but you sure can do some basic colors, right? When Pilot released a color, people go crazy even if it's ugly. Yeah, I don't know. That's a 19. It's a good guess, though. It's not quite that big. It's it's a 94. It's not a 90. Yeah, that's too big. Put that outside the. At least platinum and sailor do some color. Yeah, I'd probably get by with an 18. Be a little bit more insulation. I kind of like the 18 better, actually. Only because I get a little bit of space around the sack, and I think it's still. I mean, it's super long. I mean, I bet this goes down even further. Pilot impressed you so much, it's crazy how solid the QC is, but how bad some pens QC can be when they are above 1,000. You never use a sailor, you leave no comments. Yeah, sailor's pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, every manufacturer's got their weak point occasionally. Pilot can't make a converter to save their life, Sailor had a problem with music nibs at one point. Pilot's initial batch of stubs on their vanishing point was so bad. So bad. Oh. They must have fixed it because everybody wanted this thing, and I'm like, okay, great, But thankfully they only came on black and rhodium. You still have one. It's shocking. You have one of the first bad ones. Black and rhodium, I think black carbonesque, and like one or two other pens. They didn't come on all the pens. I don't think they came on anything with gold trim. Stealth. I think they came on the Stealth. Back to work. All right. But yeah, they were everyone I sold. Everyone I sold. I remember that thinking, we're like, yeah, we're never carrying that again. Ever. I had to tune it. I had to pay to ship it back, fix it. It was something else. So every manufacturer's got their, unfortunately, I think Visconti's reputation is just going to follow them forever. I think they've mostly, their problem relates to issues ages ago that were remedied in many ways. But then, problems, things slipped through the cracks. I mean, there was an instance where, because the U.S. they trained someone in the U.S. To tune nibs. And so, every 14 karat nib that came through was checked. Well, one time there was a batch of pens, and I forget which pen it was. They came to the U.S., and Italy didn't check them because they thought, well, the U.S. is going to check them. Nice bottle for the shellac? Yeah. Yeah, that's what you got to get. This, if you've ever worried that you're going to tip something over, your Graf on Faber-Castell bottle. I should get a little label. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Probably get ink all over or stuff all over it. This thing will never tip over, and it holds a ton. But yeah, the Italy didn't check because they thought U.S. was going to check, and U.S. didn't check because they thought Italy checked, and all the pens went out. And yeah, that was fun. You're a big fan of the Ackerman bottles? They would be terrible for shellac, though. It'd be terrible for shellac. My love affair with Ackerman is long over. Not the easiest company in the world to deal with, so. Just wasn't worth the hassle. So Tuscan will come off on your closet. When you say not easy, you mean they're very quite stingy? No. The problem, there were multiple problems. One of them was that the last straw was, one time we had huge. I mean, we would get like boxes and boxes, hundreds of bottles. And I mean, the one last shipment, I think the straw that broke the camel's back is I think we had something like a full 30% or more of our shipment was ruined because of the packaging, of the way the boxes, the bottles were packaged in the bottles, and then the caps weren't tight, so a couple of bottles broke, and then the ink got all over everything, and and other caps were loose, and so the labels are stained, and the boxes are ruined, and this, that, and the other thing, and and in the past they had said, okay, well, and I'm not asking for something for free, but if it can be fixed, send me some boxes, send me new caps, send me new labels, and I'll clean them up and relabel them. If it's just a case of a broken bottle stained a good bottle's label, because nobody wants that, right? I mean, I'll wait, but show of hands, how many people want a bottle of Ackerman with a stained box and a stained label? I'll wait, because nobody wants that. And and so in the past they would do that, and then on the last shipment, when like I had, I don't know, like I say, I can't remember, it was a long time ago, it was maybe 30% of the shipment, 45, 50 bottles. I mean, it was nuts. And they said, well, you guys sell samples anyway, so, we shouldn't give that to you for free. Well, I mean, I shouldn't have to pay for stuff that's completely destroyed and leaking out of the box when the UPS guy delivers it. And whether I sell samples or not is irrelevant. I can't have, and it was like, and because they ship all the colors together, right? And so like you'd have like 5, 6, 7 bottles that were not saleable. And what? I'm gonna have 300 samples or something. It wasn't 300 samples, but I mean, I'd have 100 samples of one color. It wasn't even a good color. I mean, I'm gonna sit on that forever. Crazy response. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And then they were. I mean, I like the guys. Again, fine. It just, we're just not gonna do business. That's it. They would take our money because we'd have to order it on their website. They wouldn't give us a deal. It's not like we're a dealer, because we got to mark it up. And Tuscan, love it. We'd order it on their website, but they wouldn't have it in stock. And so we would pay them, and then we would wait months before we would even get it. And then it comes in, it's broken. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, just make samples out of it. 5 to 6 bottles. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, multiply that times 8. Reputation of Visconti's bad QC was mainly all from one bad batch. No. No. No, they kind of earned that reputation early on, but they made some steps and they made improvements to solve those problems. When we first opened our Chicago store, we actually sat down with the vice president of the U.S. distributor. We said, "Listen, here's the deal. You're the first person to know this, but we're going to open up a new store. We're going to open up a store in Chicago. It's going to be a big deal. We want to have Visconti there, but I don't need problems. I don't need to have people come back and their nib doesn't write or whatever. And if you can assure me that something's going down, that it's these problems we're not going to have them, then we'd love to carry your product and have you for the grand opening and yada yada yada." And they were like, "Yeah, we can do that," And then all of a sudden they had, the repair guy is now a nib guy. and he checks the nibs. But you know, some of the early palladium nibs were problematic. I think some materials were problematic. You know, the what was it, the Brunelleschi, that thing. I mean, you know, what was it? There was a FPN special edition on that one, and like over half of them like broke or cracked or arrived broken or cracked or you know something like that. You're guessing Ackerman didn't want other dealers and want to sell it themselves, so they made it harder for others. I don't know. A lot of people were doing it, right? I mean, not a lot. There were a few people that were selling Ackerman. They didn't say no. In fact, I had a customer who was he traveled to Europe often, and he would go. He ended up at because there's only one of the Ackermans actually is the one that sells the ink. He went to that store, that location. He says, "Yeah, I go to Anderson's in Appleton, Wisconsin." Oh yeah, tell him I said hi. I mean, I get it. Shipping ink is a pain. It's a pain in the winter here, much less you know shipping 400 bottles to the U.S. I get it. But we ended up having to sell uh, bottles with stained labels. I had to create separate product SKUs for them and discount the heck out of them just to get rid of them because I don't need 100 or 200 samples of, you know, brown or whatever. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm a customer too. I guess. Yeah, I mean, I am. I mean, if they didn't want my money, they could just cancel the order. But you could, anybody can go on their website and order 400 bottles, and they'll ship it to you. They don't give you a discount. Now, the advantage is you know my shipping cost per unit was you know pretty reasonable when you buy one, two, three, 400 bottles, right? You buy one bottle and you have it shipped over from the Netherlands. It's pretty expensive. All right, well, hey, well that's a good thing, man. That went together. Um, we'll let that dry. We'll put that together on Monday. Where are we at with this beast? Yeah, and you know, it's not like they weren't. It's not like they weren't terribly packed. I mean, I've had packages from you know when I was a Mont Blanc dealer. I had Mont Blanc would literally just throw stuff in a box. You know, you buy cartridges, they weren't rubber banded. They were like, you would open the box and there were, I remember this one time, I even took a picture of it. It was so insane. You know, there's bottles of ink just sloshing around. I mean, they weren't broken or anything because you know, you'd have to have a truck run over those to break a Mont Blanc bottle. But, you know, I think we had like 50 cartridges in the box and they were just strewn asunder. Bottles. I mean, and the box it was like getting a shipment from Amazon. The box is massively oversized. It was like they looked around the warehouse and they said, "Well, what are we going to put 50 bottles of ink in and 50 cartridges?" And they just like got the biggest thing ever. Um, it was hilarious. It was just like, come on. But I think I just don't think that you know they had never designed that bottle or the packaging with the intent of you know that kind of shipping situation. You're curious, don't some companies instead ship big containers and multiple empty bottles that you can fill it up yourself? No, nobody does that. Nobody does that. Now, Jacques Urban does sell. They have a product. I forget what it is. It's a special line of ink, and we actually talked about getting it for a very short period of time. That comes in like a big container. It looks like a big lemonade container, and it's got a little tap on it, and you can, tap your own. I said, that's cool, but what a huge mess that's going to be. The essentials. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, yeah. I think what a huge mess that's going to be. Because how cool would it be as a customer to go in a store and say, hey, listen, I just need a refill of whatever. You love the black from that line? Is it cool? But people are, they're not paying attention. They're talking. They're looking around. It overfills. Overflows. I just can't do it. I mean, if there was a way to do it where you guarantee that no one's going to make a huge mess and it's not going to get on carpet, because we have had carpet at my stores. I mean, Urban ink comes out of anything because it's vegetable based, but yeah, well, and Ackerman's got a smaller bottle now. I think they got a 60 ml bottle or something that they just came out with. But I just don't think it was ever designed with the intention of, they made it in house, screw the cap on, put it on the shelf. You take it home, how it gets there is your business. But to ship that many overseas, yeah. Do I carry Queasy? I used to carry Queasy. It was not incredibly popular. And we gave up after a while because there was I forget, but they started numbering them. So it was like green 1, green 2, green 3. Okay. I guess that's maybe better than coming up with names you can't pronounce or spell. Yeah, honey was a nice one. I remember that one. But it just was never popular. Anytime you have to go outside your home continent, it becomes a problem. I'm afraid to put this thing back together. Every time I do, something bad happens. You think the name is a little off-putting? Queasy? Feels a bit too modernish, if that makes sense. I think people want to know what if it looks like an acronym. I don't even know. Quite to be honest, it's got to stand for something, right? People want to know what it stands for. Even I don't know what it stands for. I carried it. I guess that's my problem, isn't it? European brands in general aren't popular. Not necessarily. I don't know. There could have been other things at play. Just because it didn't sell well for me doesn't mean it's not good ink, and it doesn't mean, there were other things going on too during that time that it was just we decided it wasn't worth the hassle. The margin was there, and that's great, but the problem is when if you don't sell a lot of it in a lot of different variants, reordering is really problematic, right? If Queasy Honey's the best selling and it's the only thing that sells, your reorder is difficult because you're going to only ship, you're only going to buy a couple of colors. Oh, it's his name. Conrad Zurowski. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, see, I didn't know that. I guess that's better than calling it Conrad Zurowski Inc. Company. Yeah, you know, and I hear they're incredibly nice people. I know they've done ink for uh, St. Louis Pen Show. W's probably his middle name, right? At this point, I've never met them. They were real nice. I have no qualms with them at all. And actually, I hadn't thought of them in ages. Um, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's worth a relook. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of companies that. I mean, we carried a lot of brands. PhD in chemistry. Well, I mean, it's better than some guy just mixing it up in his kitchen, right? I mean, maybe he is, but all right. Um, I think I'm gonna hold off on this True Blue. At least this is a new sack. Um, I'm gonna get my colleague Mike to give me his 10 cents worth because every time we are now on, I think the fourth sack, fourth or fifth sack, and probably just as many J bars. May you now see a close up of the Moore now that you're back to left. The nib, it's a little cockeyed, but that's kind of how it ended up being. Sorry, I'll stabilize it here for a minute. So I pushed it in a little bit further. I mean, there's no getting around that, but all of the crack, most of the crack is underneath the section. I don't like how it's kind of lilting to the left a little bit. And that's why I had original, but from the back it doesn't look that way. I mean, it does. I guess it does. And that's why I wanted to knock it out to begin with because I didn't want to push this over for fear of doing anything with the crack. But it just seems like it naturally wants to sit in that position. Yeah, I'm going to keep it as is. I mean, I think it's, I was really nervous about pushing from this side of the crack because then, you know, we're putting extra pressure on this part over here that's not ripped yet, right? Yeah, the owner can look for a new nib if they want. I kind of forget the story here, unfortunately. Uh, she told it to me twice, so I feel kind of bad because, you know, sometimes people bring a pen to me and it's not that I don't listen, but I'm tuned into what does the pen need and what are we going to do to solve this issue and, you know, is this fixable? Um, um, and I don't remember if it was I don't think it was I think it was some family member's pen, but I'm not sure I can't remember if it was hers or not. But it's a lovely pen. It polished up pretty decently. I think it will work just fine. There doesn't seem to be a gap under here, which I was also worried about. So you're working on 3 PFMs. Gray with gold trim, gray with silver trim, and gray with a two-tone cap. Is Kobe a premium brand from Sailor? You know, Kobe is a funny one. Kobe, well, we used to be able to get Kobe ink from the U.S. distributor. And how that worked was they would order directly from Kobe and bring it in. Green 4, 5, and a blue 3. Oh, I like green. I need a PFM, I think, in my life. Maybe. I don't know. U.S. distributor bring Kobe in. And at the same time, they also brought Bungo Box in. And this is before Bungo Box switched to that small bottle. We had, I don't know if any of you remember. Hey, Gary. Welcome. The blue 3 will be available in Chicago. I'm thinking of 5. I need a 5. When the new Bungo Box came out, the ones that looked like the little mini Mont Blanc bottles, the little shoe bottles. My senior photo editor, who also did some videos and stuff for us, Steph, she did this video and she said something about, it was hilarious. It she didn't mean it this way, but it came across like incredibly stupid. Like it was half the bottle, twice the price, or something like that. It was just funny. I mean, we just laughed. We laughed about it because it was like, okay, well, that's not a real great way to sell it, but yeah, it is. It's half the bottle, 2/3 the bottle, and twice the price. A little bit more, a little bit less, a little bit higher price, something like that. Let you know which 5 and get a price from your friend. Oh no, I can't. No. I don't know. See, I shouldn't have said anything because now I'm probably too cheap to buy one unless I find it myself. You missed the flat bottles series to do what? Those were the Kobe bottles. And Kobe just never sold well. It sold. Some colors were okay, some weren't so okay. And we sat on a lot of it, and then finally, Toya said, "Yeah, we're not doing that anymore." And actually, when we re-signed the dealer agreement, a couple months ago, I said, "Well, do you guys still have Kobe?" I said, "Yeah, we're not carrying it anymore, but we got a couple colors left." No, they're not U.S. exclusive at all. Not at all. No, it was the whole reason they were in the U.S. and being sold by the U.S. distributor was because there was a retailer that was bringing in some of these other store branded Sailor inks and selling them, and we needed to kind of level the playing field because it wasn't right. But a Sailor announced yet what the anchor drop will be for May? No, and I suspect it's going to happen. When is May 1st? Is it Friday next week? I'll know like maybe Thursday, the day I'm leaving, which is going to totally suck. Because I'm going to end up having to stop at like the rest area or something and place an order. I can just see if they have pens. If they do one, there's no guarantee they'll do one. But I usually we're going to usually try to buy them if it's a good looking pen. I mean, there are some that I wouldn't do if they were 50% off, because they didn't sell in the first place. They're probably not selling in the second place. All right. So now I'm just going to do, this is probably a good way to end up the day. That's right. Today's early. So I'm done at 4. I'm done in 50 minutes. I've got 3 823s that I discovered. One of them actually has ink in it. So we're going to see. I don't even know. This one was mostly cleaned. And this one is kind of Oh, this is an 823. Huh. Yeah, so I've got a 823 in smoke. This one looks like it's ink too. I don't even know if, well, it's not a slip and seal cap apparently. So I just decided I need to clean these. This one's not too bad. So something a little mindless for the rest of the day. Looks like there was maybe blue ink in here. So rest assured, if there is an anchor drop, I'll let y'all know about it. I'm going to switch out my water here real quick. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to see what's actually in here first before I... Oh, there's nothing in there. Nothing in there. That's a good mindless task. I'm glad to see you're cleaning them out the correct way, not unscrew. Oh my God, no. Don't unscrew the section. You prefer the 743 over the 823? Japan sells 823 FA or Waverly. You can get the FA in the US on an 823. Oh yeah, yeah. At least I'll let you know on the podcast if there is one, if we do it. We just got lucky like 2 months ago. They let us know super early. At least once a year, you buy an 823 that's been destroyed by improper cleaning. Oh, you're going to see some more salad spinner action. Absolutely. How the heck do you think I'm going to get all the last little remnants out of this thing? People do go too far with cleaning and assembly. You are absolutely right. But you know, there's no telling. There's no talk. You can't talk to these people. I mean, yes. What was it yesterday or yesterday? A couple days ago, earlier in the week, I disassembled 2 Twisbees to clean them. They had also sat for a year. And now I'm starting to see the barrel. Yeah, they sat for a year without being cleaned. Yeah, so the FA used to be it's a funny story. My good friend John was the GM of Pilot USA, and I would tell him, I said, yeah, there's a store in Japan that sells an 823 with an FA nib. And he said, well, are you sure it's not? I said, no, it's a number 15 nib. It's, you know, it says it right on the nib. And you go to their website and you show them the picture of it. Like, huh? And I said, well, I'm going to tell you, I said, you need that pen. You need that pen in the US. And I would send him a picture of it. He said, send me a picture. And then one day one came to my table and I, at a show, I forget what show it was. Might have been one of the last DC shows that I did. And I text him and say, "Hey John, I got an 823 with an FA nib. Do you want me to buy it?" And he didn't get back to me in time. And then he texted me back, a little bit later and said, well, yeah, buy that. I'm like, well, it's too late. It's sold. I mean, it was gone. Boom, just like that. You're like, well, it's not, there's no other pen that has a number 15 FA nib on it. So it wasn't, and so he talked to Pilot about it, and they actually told him, you ready for this? No, we don't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. That's what they told him. Yeah, because there's no. It's not like you can't take the FA nib out of the 912 and put it in the 823. When I was last a dealer, was when the clear 823 first came out. You could get it in an FA and what they call it, signature nib, which was kind of a double broad. There we go. And I don't remember. I have the catalog. I haven't looked at it, so I don't remember what the status is for them. But 823s will be on the radar. I'm going to have a conversation with, I hope to have a conversation with Pilot at the Chicago show. They're usually there. And see what's cooking. Let me get rid of this water. I'll be right back. Well, yeah, 823s will actually, my first order will be Vanishing Points and ink, and then after that, it'll be 823s and 912s. '74s never really sold all that well, so maybe not those. From your understanding, Pilot are quite reasonable. I mean, depends on what you mean. But yeah, these barrels can crack. People unscrew them, and so if you get them used or you're buying them used, you really need to check this threaded area. What's news to you? Did I say something wrong? That Pilot is reasonable? I mean, I'm not a Pilot dealer right now, so and I know. I'm not a Pilot dealer right now, so that maybe is all you need to know. I'm going to go with uh, caution. In my case, at least, caution and a little bit of misunderstanding. That's what I'm gonna go with. I mean, once you're up and running, everything with Pilot is usually. I mean, you got no say in basically no say in doing any kind of exclusive, no say in product recommendations. I mean, it is what it is. You like it, you buy it. You don't want it, don't buy it. Don't complain because there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, to say I was a little disappointed is, I won't say it's the understatement of the year, but it was not the phone call I was anticipating. But we have since had further conversations, and we're headed in the right direction. So that's really all I care about. The past is the past, and in this particular case, I'm not going to dwell on it. Oh yeah, 743s. I forgot. 823s, 743s, 912s. I never was really sold though on that U.S. exclusive green 743. You probably need to stop buying vintage pens on eBay. I think someone's on to you, Gabriel. They saw you buying all these pens, and that's why you got shipped that wrong pen instead of that Duovac. They said, you know what? We could ship him the wrong pen. He'll pay for it, and then he'll buy the other one too. My challenge could be to get the Pilot pen cleaning kits they sell in Japan. Probably true. But look, honey, their customer service is great. They ship me the wrong thing, and then they ship me another one. Greatest scam ever, right? All of a sudden, Cardinal Pen starts shipping Schaefer Legacies every time you order a Waterman Karen. Well, hey, now that you like it. But hey, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? How'd you like the play? You might complain about Pilot, but you still own hundreds of their pens? Yeah. I mean, of all the brands out there, if we get past the converters and those stubs, you know, the product's right. Pilot cleaning kit. Yeah, their quality control is like they've figured out how to make a pen and like it works, you know. So that's the one, huh? It's got looks like it's got a cleaning liquid, concentrated cleaning liquid, and a bulb syringe. Keep the nib. So here's the directions. Um, 5 units of cleaning liquid of 8 ml. Fit the cleaning dropper into your pilot fountain pen and push it 10 times inside a cup of water. Change the water and insert 8 milliliters of cleaning liquid in 100 milliliters of water. Keep the nib inside this liquid for 8 to 10 hours. Don't use the solution with the Rushi lacquered pens, Pilot Custom 823, Heritage 92, or Justice 95. Why the Justice? I can see a Rushi, I can see 823, I can see 92 because it's a piston. Maybe there's something with the rubber. But why the Justice? Which leads me to the next question. Is the Justice something that people care about? Oh, the Sailor Maintenance Kit? Yeah. Yeah, that's available here in the US. In fact, that's the that just shoves into the section. It's basically it's a cartridge that slots into a syringe. You're probably the only one that cares about a Justice. Then again, I may be the only one that owns a prototype of it. You know, and I've tried to get that early version of the Justice. I have lost out so many times. I can't even count anymore. This has got some ink in it. I think I'm gonna put this in the ultrasonic. In there. But yeah, that prototype is seriously cool. Always wanted a Justice. In fact, I think Lisa was going to let me keep one. We used to have a cool Justice display at the store. You know, and the great thing was is that at the time it was black and gold, and it came in fine and medium. That was it. You know, it didn't come in any other colors. And only 2 nibs. I mean, you sell one, you buy one to replace it. But the reality is, much like Wall Eversharp's adjustable nibs, what are you gonna do? Change that thing every day? Oh, I'm journaling now, so I'll do something different. Probably not. You're not going to change it at all. That's why we have multiple pens. I want to give this one more shot. It's been kind of soaking with some naphtha in it. You had to buy the original one to go with your prototype. I've bought and sold the modern version twice. They're cool, but not very practical. The only thing I like, the one thing I really like about it is it's bigger than everything else in the lineup. You know, it's on par with 823 as far as size is concerned. But then I guess at the time there was no 743, at least here in the U.S. Yeah, you got the vintage one. The vintage one's kind of funky. Yeah, they're nice pens, but you know, you're gonna set it once. You're not gonna adjust it to stiff. You're gonna have it on the softest setting. Why don't you just get a Falcon or an FA? You know, I don't see the continued. And then they came out with black and rhodium, which I thought was nice. I'm going to try to heat this and see if this will come out. I'm about ready to give up on it. If you had fewer pens, you probably would have kept it. I just, you know, it was just so nice that it was a different size. You know what I mean? It wasn't the same size as a 74 or 912. It was a big chunky pen. And I guess and it was is the modern one still flat top? The vintage one's got a rounded cap. I can't even remember. I could look it up easily enough, but. I can't tell if I'm opening this or the whole thing is spinning. It's not coming out. See, Gary, sometimes you just can't get these. You don't know. You just can't get them open. Let's see. So that one, thankfully, we needed we needed somebody to put this crappy section in. And even the nib is not quite right on this too. Nice cap. You're expecting a Waterman set. You think it's a Corinth, slate blue in the original box. Looks like a flex nib with nice long tines. Does a Corinth come with a glass cartridge? It's a lever filler. So don't wonder why this is Mark it. Well, my tape is so old it just won't. Oh, I got a good cap and I got a good blind cap. Yeah, I got a nib and a feed and a breather tube out of the deal, so that's what I'm going to take out of that. I just need to find a blue something. Let's see. Oh, no, this one was okay. It's just that I need a regular filling unit for it. Because I don't want to use this speed line. Because I would rather save this for something else. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to... If I can... thread this in. And set it aside. $9.12 with the red feed. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to screw it all the way in. I just need to put it in there so it doesn't fall out. I guess that way I can keep the blind cap with the pen. Let's see how these 823s are looking. They're all pretty good except for this smoke one. Could think about bringing the blue barrel with me to Chicago to see if Mike could get it open. He has a talent for opening the impossible. Yeah, I still got ink in there, huh? I could do that. Of course, the last time I tried to do that, he couldn't open anything that I brought him. I have a really nice oversized wall deco band. He tried for about 5 minutes. Yeah, no, I don't think so. There's still some in there. That's not too bad, though. Doesn't need to be perfect, but no. It is satisfying to watch them fill up, though. It's reassuring in a way. Yeah, I mean, it was. It was, right? Sometimes it's nice when your colleagues can't fix the same crap that you're trying to fix, you know. Like, okay, well, I wasn't being too cautious or whatever. It just is never opening, you know. It's one thing if it's your pen. It's another thing if it's a client's pen. You know, you want the pen fixed for the client because, you know, you want to make the client happy. And you also want to make the money. I mean, let's be honest. If it's my pen, then it just, you know, it goes back in the bin for another 10 years. Great salad spinner is back, yeah. I really do love how long it spins. There's still a couple of drops of water in there. Well, let's see. There's a few in there. I did get quite a bit of actual ink on the side of the... I mean, it's It's kind of funny. It doesn't all come out. I could pull the nibs and get a Q-tip in there and do all that jazz, but it's going to be clean enough. I mean, I couldn't even see through the barrels on this. And I've got it unscrewed too. And there's still... But when I shake it, nothing's coming out. What we used to do at our first store is we had a ledge. We had these three beautiful windows in the front. They're arched windows in the front of the store. Gosh, I love that store. That was so nice. Nice copper ceiling and all that stuff. But these beautiful arched windows, and then there was a ledge underneath them. And we would use it for, and then we had black, about that high, window clings on there for a couple of our brands. We got sponsored to put on there. So it actually hid the ledge so we could put pens and boxes and stuff on there. But what we would do is we would take 823s there, where we would take transparent pens that had, water in them, and we would leave them in the windowsill, and they would just, with the cap off, and this would just evaporate out. So that always worked out nice. But well, these are good enough. They are good enough for... I suppose I should look at the caps, maybe, huh? Nothing in there. That one's pretty clean. A little bit of ink in that smoke. Smoke one is really dirty for some reason. It's not painful. It's just, if you got other things to do, then it's painful. If you got nothing to do, and I don't feel like repairing any more pens this week. We came to a nice stopping point, and I didn't prepare anything extra. And unfortunately, you own a pen shop, you got to clean pens every once in a while. I tell you what, this 61 really, I haven't written like page after page after page with this thing yet. Got a few minutes here. Let's just write a page and let's see what happens. But I've had it for what? Is this the second week maybe? It has never failed to start. It might be just good enough. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just harder to clean and get. It is a nice writer. You interested in a 61? I put this in the David pile. David Pyle's getting pretty big over here, by the way. Only because you're taking that box for me of pens for Judd, but which I got to get working on. Yeah, it's a surprisingly nice writer. Nice Lesterloy cap. You could then you'll put it together a special box for me. Wouldn't that be fun, huh? We'll both put together a special box for each other, not to be opened until we get home. You got a red first edition. That's the one to have. Yeah, yeah. Rage red. Yeah, that's the one to have. I used to have one um of the special ones that was marked like a gift from Kenneth Parker, and then the person's recipient's name on it. And there were only like a couple dozen of those made. I just, it's such. I really got to get into a 61. The gray is not my color. I don't think, but I do think that the clip in the cap on the 61 is maybe the nicest clip they ever made. It's the right length. It looks great in the pocket. The fact that it's a double jewel pen is awesome. Um, this little Zogan inlay here really helps with identifying where the point needs to be. I mean, I think they really nailed this pen. Short of the filling systems a little bit maybe is too much for most people. If it were modified to fit a Parker piston converter, I think it would be, they spent yeah, I mean, and it's really, it just, it feels fancy. It really does. I'm talking myself into this thing here. Um, when you get a nice 61, it's just, it's, it's almost the perfect pen. Almost, not quite. Um, this one's too fine for me, but nice weight distribution. You have Surf Green 61. I mean, it's a bit fine for your taste, but it's a good writer. Yeah. Seemingly enough of a ink supply. Maybe I should sell these. And they are what they are. I mean, what pen has been closest to your personal perfection? For writing, just for writing, or for in general? You got an ink with Schaefer turquoise? Yeah, that's a good color, huh? I'm a big fan of the Legacy One in general, or by any metric you want to choose. Uh, I I'm a big fan of the Legacy One. They made them in stub nibs. It's that PFM size, but a little bit heavier weight. The touchdown system is, it's goofy. Didn't work all that well. Although, I mean, maybe you can fix those converters nowadays to, replace the sack on them, and maybe they'll work okay. But you can still put a converter in it. I just like the size. I think they look beautiful. Like I talked earlier on, that inlaid nib is um, maybe the prettiest nib ever put on a pen. In fact, so my daughter is getting married next year, October. We don't have an exact date yet, but she's getting married in October, and I have long thought since it was sprung upon me that there was to be a wedding. What would be the pen that I would choose for that day? And the only contender that so far it keeps coming up to the top, and there's a couple, is maybe the Legacy. Is maybe a Legacy. It's such a nice pen, so nice. Um, but the problem with the Legacy one is, if I'm not mistaken, the standard Schaefer piston converter doesn't fit. The end of it has problems with that touchdown converter. So Legacy 1, Legacy 2, that the piston converter doesn't fit. But if you have the arrow converter, that's fine. And if you have the arrow converter, then actually the touchdown mechanism actually still works. I came into a Sterling Legacy Heritage. That might be appropriate for the day. I don't know. Ever see a Parker 61 demo? That would be something, huh? You'd have to have a. This part had to be clear too. You know of two of them, huh? Is this part clear too? Yeah, Legacy and Sterling does. Yeah, mine's got a gold clip. What is it? Herringbone pattern or something like that? I don't know. I got plenty of time to think about it, but I got to think about it. Yeah, maybe a King of Pen. But Legacy is just so nice. Such a nice pen. The filler is not clear. Oh, okay. That's too bad. That would be cool if they made a different plastic filler, so you could see the paper inside. The Teflon coating was dark in color. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I guess Legacy ones now are Legacy Heritages are vintage, right? I mean, they're 30 years old. For me, it'd be a Pilot, probably a Pelican. Yeah, I don't own any Pelicans. I've actually only owned 2 Pelicans my entire life. A 61, it demonstrated a serious rarity. Yeah, I mean, I never even thought of one until today. Yeah, I think maybe my testing of this is probably done. I'm just gonna flush it out, and maybe I'll. I mean, maybe I need to. I mean, I don't know. Probably don't need to test every 61 I have for 2 weeks, but I've got 61s, and they don't need to be occupying my space here. Maybe somebody else can enjoy it. I mean, it's a little bit too. If it was a little bit broader, it would be good for me, but it's not. So, anyway, I got 4 o'clock, which means Lisa's going to be walking through the door just about any minute now. And I forget what's on the agenda for this evening, but a little bit of exercise. Yeah, have a great evening, David. We'll chat with you later. A little bit of exercise, a little bit of dinner. Thanks for the salad spinner demo. Yeah. Any day, almost every day of the week, almost every day. Actually, I didn't push it down. It's a funny thing. If you don't push the thing down, then it spins because you activate the mechanism. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Yeah, good stream. Had fun watching you fix up clean pens. Yeah, Monday through Thursday, every day, except for Friday. Monday through Thursday, we clean pens. We take care of pens, fix them. Gary, take care. Gabriel, maybe your back strong. Thanks, Spicy. Have a great evening. Well, yeah, you too. So tomorrow podcast. We're getting more Carens in tomorrow. So if you missed the first batch of Carens, more Carens are coming tomorrow, including a couple new colors. We'll show those on the podcast. 1:30 p.m. Central Time. It'll be fun. I don't know what else is cooking, but now that I think about it, I got some new inks too. So I'm gonna go bust my butt and get those checked in real quick. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Have a great afternoon, great evening. Great morning wherever you are in the world, and we'll catch you tomorrow, all right? Be kind, be well. See you tomorrow. Bye now.